Hey guys, and welcome to Crazy Burger. So we're getting stuck into the video straight away. We're looking at the 10 hardest games on Evercade according to myself. Now there's lots of hard games on Evercade, but I've picked 10 that I think are probably the toughest games you could possibly play. Starting with Gym Power, the Lost Dimension in 3D. This is on the Pico Collection 1. And I found this game, I think I included this game in a video called Unplayable Games. And it's maybe on borderline like that, but it's such a tough game. Basically because you can't make much progress without dying. The enemies take more than a few hits to die. They jump right into your space immediately, and it just makes for one really tough, frustrating experience. I've never got far in this game and just got frustrated and gave up pretty much right away because I didn't make much progress through this. I did try, and yeah, sometimes save states definitely help a little bit. But when you're making so little progress, step at a time, and then enemies just appear or disappear in front of you, touch it, you die instantly. It's so frustrating. I found this one extremely hard to play, and it's really not enjoyable at all. Just my opinion. Okay, so moving on to Treasure Island Dizzy on the Oliver Twins collection. Now, admittedly, I really enjoy this game, but if anyone remembers playing this back in the day, you only had one life on C64, Spectrum, Amstrad, whatever you played it on. Obviously, this is the NES version, and it's exactly the same thing. You've got one life, and this game is very much trial and error, and if you make any sort of mistake or you muck up, then you die instantly. You go all the way back to the beginning. Now obviously on Evercade you have the save states, it makes things a heck of a lot easier, but if you didn't have these save states, this would be a ridiculously frustrating, hard game to play. Now, I remember it back in the day, it was frustrating, and you played this game and you were very nervously going about the levels, scared in case you touched something or died. It was quite a nerve-wracking experience, and probably one of the toughest Dizzy games to actually play because of the fact you only had one life, there's no energy bar either, and if you touched something you weren't supposed to, or you'd done something, you went in the water without your snorkel, or when you were sort of moving your inventory about, then you would die. Anyway guys, that's my thoughts. I think this is a tough game. Next up, it's California Games on Atari Lynx Collection 2. Now you could also choose the C64 version of this, it doesn't really make any difference. The games are still very tough. Now there's a lot of enjoyment to have from California Games depending which sort of event you actually choose. The two events that I'm focusing in this video is the surfing and half pipe, and I found them the most difficult to get to grip with. The surfing is tricky, and it's all about really trying to get enough speed and then to do these turns, and I think you press the A button to try and turn a little bit faster as well. But it's one of those pick up and play games. It's not one of those at all. You can pick it up, I guess you only play a few minutes anyway, but it's so tough to actually master. I think the key is certainly to practice, and eventually you'll maybe get somewhere with it, but it's definitely a frustrating game. Now, admittedly, I think the surfing is probably a little bit easier to master than the half pipe. The half pipe is just unbelievably difficult. It's all about the timing, pressing up and down at the right times when you're going up and down the sort of half pipe, and then sort of try and turn the sort of skateboard and do a trick at the same time. It's excruciatingly tough, and I've seen a lot of review videos at the time on that, and most of the videos you're watching, people score 0 and get absolutely nowhere. And I think what doesn't help is that the Evercade manual doesn't tell you enough about the controls. So I think a little bit more info is definitely needed. You have to actually seek out the original manual to figure out what you're supposed to do, and eventually you will get somewhere. But I think, like me in this video, this is all you'll be doing, going back and forward, getting nowhere, try to do a move, and you'll just get fail after fail, which makes it a really tough game, and certainly a difficult game and worthy of putting in this video, I think. Next up, it's Astyanax on the Jaleco Collection 1, not to be confused with the arcade version on the arcade cart, which is really decent. This is the original NES conversion, and I really don't like this game at all. It's horribly difficult, and I think it's just a bit of a flickery mess. I think because there's so many sprites appear on the screen, it just becomes a horrible flickery mess to play. This guy's doing a Ric Flair impression for some reason before we start the game. But yes, as soon as you start, it looks nice. There's no doubt the graphics look nice enough until too many sprites start appearing and it becomes a little bit flickery and yeah, it's a bit sore in the eyes to play through. And yet, even though if you do manage to kill a lot of these enemies, they just happen to respawn over and over again, and it almost feels pointless even bothering trying to kill any of them. Like this green thing that flies over the screen, if you happen to manage to kill it, it'll just respawn another one and keep on going. Then you get these things appearing in the middle platforms to annoy you and cause death. Really frustrating. Okay, so on to Tennis All-Stars on the Codemasters Collection 1. Now, I think I also included this game on the Unplayable video that I've done as well, and admittedly, is it unplayable? Is it just difficult? Is it just me? Could you get better at this game? Is this game broken? I really don't know. Trying to play through this game, something's not right with it. It's just very, very difficult. If you look at the ball physics, it almost seems impossible to actually return, and if you do manage to return one of the shots, it just goes way out the court, or it just seems uncontrollable. Like that, me trying to sort of hit that ball back, it just goes all over the place. I don't know, I think there's something really wrong with this game. It doesn't seem right at all. And yeah, it's unplayable, and thusly it's very, very difficult. I didn't enjoy this game one bit. Now, there's got a lot going for this game, but I think it needs a lot of work done to it. I think it's broken somewhere along the line. I just don't think it works. And for me, there's no enjoyment to be had from it. There's something not right with it at all.
Love 15. Love 30. Love 40. Game computer. Computer to serve. 15. Love. Out. 30. Love. Love. Game computer.
Okay, so on to Technos Arcade 1. This is Battle Lane Volume 5, and yes, I have no idea what happened to Volumes 1 to 4. This is obviously an arcade game, and arcade games are designed to be pretty difficult so that you get more coins out of you. But in saying that, this game is ridiculous. Even using save states, you're not really going to get a heck of a lot of progress. I find that it's just unbelievably tough as nails. I think what doesn't help is that you can hardly see the firepower as well from the other sort of vehicles and enemies that you come across on the screen. And sometimes I found it was probably better just to try and avoid everything rather than try and shoot everything. But yeah, I've made very little progress. I think I got to the end of the first stage and then wasn't sure exactly what to do. It just felt impossible to actually make progress. And this one, you could argue this could be one of the toughest games to play on Evercade, and it's one of those games I've never really returned to and never enjoyed it at all. So up next it's R-Type from Irem Arcade Collection 1. And this game is notoriously difficult no matter whatever version you ever played through the years. Yeah, it's obviously got that reputation. Now, I'm no good at shoot 'em ups, never been that great at them at all. And I'm really frustrated playing ones that are really difficult like this. There's no doubt this is a really class game, it looks fantastic, sounds great, there's a lot going for it. If you love your shooters, I'm no doubt this one is a firm favourite for a lot of people. But for me, I just find it really tough, really frustrating, and I always seem to get sucked in towards enemy fire or enemies, and I always seem to die. I've just never been good at this type of game at all. So next up we have Cathedral from the Dual Collection with Alwa's Awakening, which I think is the better game here. But a lot of people have time for Cathedral, and there's no doubt it's a very good looking game, there's a lot going for it. But I find it really frustrating. It's just unbelievably difficult. And I just find some of the enemies quite frustrating, the way they sort of jump at you. I just feel that the difficult level is just a little bit too high, and the enemies just... I don't know, there's so many things making this game so difficult. I've played this game quite a lot, but I definitely got to a point where I just got too frustrated and I gave up. I think I got to one of the boss levels, I think it's the Necromancer probably, that it's further on in this stage here, and it just becomes unbelievable to actually make some progress, and I gave up. I just didn't have the patience to sit through it. It would certainly be helpful if we had the save states for that, but obviously it being a native game we don't have that. I think this game is certainly one of the toughest you'll play. Okay, so I have to include this game. This is Cybernoid on the C64. Now, there's no doubt I think Evercade have done a really good job of the button mapping, because obviously a lot of these controls were utilised using the keyboard, especially your bombs, missiles and the shield. And sometimes I just feel as if I'm fumbling between the sort of controls, trying to get the right sort of missile, bomb, bouncer, whatever you need to actually make progress. But it's very tough. And certainly this one, I've made some progress utilising the save states, but if you're sort of playing this, if you maybe played this back in the C64 at the time, you never had save states, making any progress past maybe 3-4 screens was almost nigh on impossible. And this part here, you really need to utilise the shield to make it past this bit, or be really quick, which obviously I wasn't here. But I kind of liked this game once I got into it, but it is very tough. You feel as if you die just constantly. You definitely have to save state like crazy to make any kind of progress. I think it's a shame, because I think there's a really decent game in here. Final game, and it's Xenocrisis on the Dual Cart with Tanglewood. And also this game could easily be included in your top 5, top 10 games on Evercade. It really is that good, but it is also one of the toughest games you'll play on Evercade. It starts off easy enough and at the sort of early beginnings here, where you obviously get used to the controls, but before long you get enemies chucked at you left, right and centre, and it becomes really tough. But this version on Evercade is actually a really good version. I love the way it's been sort of mapped to control the buttons and the direction you actually fire. I think it's been really well done, and it's such a fun game to play, but it is really, really difficult. Now, you can actually utilise the cheat mode to give you infinite health and infinite ammo, that kind of thing, but if you actually use that, you will never see the proper ending. It will just end and you will feel, you'll feel completely demoralised when you actually get to that point. So if you want to see the proper ending, you can't use that. But if you ever get to that point without utilising it, then congratulations to you. You're obviously a far better gamer than me, because I'm never going to get that far. I think I got to about stage 4 or so before I obviously died and I just couldn't make any further progress. But wow, an amazing game, but an amazingly tough game at the same time. Anyway guys, let me know what you think. Is there a game out there that you think should be included in this video that's really tough on Evercade? Let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.
Crisis.